Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Canadian Bowler Show. I'm Mike Patulli, joined by Daryl Fitzgerald. Today, we have a special guest with us, Amy Spence from PEI. Welcome to the show, Amy.
Thank you.
Okay, so typically when we interview somebody, we like to give them the floor just to let them introduce themselves and sort of how they relate to bowls. So, Amy, the floor is yours.
I'm Amy. I'm 21, and I'm from PEI. I got into bowls about 10 years ago when my mom decided it'd be a good idea because I was a 5-pin bowler and a curler at the time. And it's a combination of both. She said, let's give it a go. So here we are.
So you are the 2022 Women's Under 25 Canadian Champion, which is an awesome accomplishment. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Before we get into all the fun bowl stuff about you, I'd like to give our viewers a little information on PEI. So bowls in PEI, what is that like?
It's we just have the one club. It's a tight group of around 50 members. It's consistently the same people that show up every week. You all get to know each other really well. The greens are well maintained, as it's the only one on the island. So
Cool. Yeah, I once had played at your club out in, Sherwood Lawn Bowling Club out in PEI. So for anyone who hasn't been there before, it's Prince Edward Island. So it's a small island on the east coast of Canada. They have the one club, and sort of as you described, it's a small, tight-knit club. They ran the juniors, not to date myself, but 2007, so I'm starting to get old. This is my first one I went to, and I really did have a great time. It's a great place, and I was very impressed the one time I went there. So you sort of did touch on it. Your mom kind of got you into bowls there. So does both your parents bowl? Is that what I understand?
Yep.
So how do you like playing with your parents when you bowl?
I really enjoy it. We have a lot of fun. We actually won the mixed triples league this year.
That's awesome. Outside of bowls, what are your main interests outside of playing lawn bowls?
I do 5-pin bowling. I also did curling as well, but I stopped about a year ago because I've been busy with school. I've been to about 15 5-pin bowling nationals, and I won the 2012 Bantam title, which I was 11, and I won the 2016 junior title when I was 15.
That's very impressive. I know it actually seems to be a common denominator. 5-pin bowling seems to attract or bring in a lot of lawn bowlers. I know if we probably look back over the years, there's a lot of very good 5-pin bowlers who actually get into lawn bowling. I'm not sure what the commonality is between the two, but it seems to be something that sticks and gets people to join the game. So you won the U25s this year. We did touch on that. You've been knocking on the door. The last few nationals have been close or sort of in and around the hunt. What do you think pushed you over the edge to win it all this year?
I was doing a lot more practicing this year. I was really focused. I really wanted to win this nationals, and about 2 weeks before we went away, my grandmother passed away, and that really pushed me to do really good when I went out there. It was like I was doing it for her.
We're really sorry to hear that. That is a sad occurrence in anybody's life. We are really happy that what you wanted to do actually came true and you won, which is really, really awesome. So you won the under 25 playing one of your close friends, Alexis Gallagher, in the final. Since she's one of your friends, was it hard to play her, or how did that match go?
It wasn't hard. We knew it was going to be a really good game, and we were both going to be happy if either one of us won. So there was no issues at all.
It's always interesting when you play your friends, so it's good that you guys kind of had that understanding that it was going to be a good game and you'd be happy regardless. So
yeah,
at least you have that relationship. Some people don't have that. It would be a little bit uglier potentially.
Yeah.
So winning the U25s, you get to go to Belfast, Ireland for the World Under 25 Championships. Do you have any plans or I guess what have you been doing to prepare to be going to the U25s?
I have met up with my coach Tammy a couple times in Nova Scotia. We've been doing a lot of drills. I even played a sets game against Jackie Foster. I have one more practice left before we go.
So exactly how excited are you to be going to Ireland to be playing on the indoor?
I can't even explain how excited I am. I never thought I was going to be going to a different country to play a sport. And now that it's happening, it's mind-blowing.
So the tournament's in roughly just over 2 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks there. So do you have plans to go early to either tour around, or are you going early to practice? What's sort of your itinerary?
My family gets in, we go in, we're leaving on the 27th. So we're there for about 3 or 4 days. We're going to do some tourist stuff in Dublin before we head up to Belfast. And I know we have a couple of practices booked before the allotted time in Belfast on the 2nd or the 3rd, right before we start.
Do you have you've been training with Tammy Foster-Vino out of Nova Scotia? She's the regional coach for kind of the Atlantic area, and she'll be going over there with you. Do you have any plans with her on what you'll be doing to prepare yourself?
We've been just talking about staying positive, making sure that we're happy with what we're doing. She's teaching me the drills, making sure the practices are on the turf carpet greens, so that I have a general idea of what it's like, since I've never played indoor before.
So when you're over there, so you're playing singles, and then you're also playing mixed pairs with the other U25 winner from the men's, Owen Kirby. So have you ever played with Owen before?
I haven't played with him, no. But we've known each other for a long time. I have a general idea of how he plays.
Are you excited to get the opportunity to play with Owen, or are you?
Yes. Yeah.
Good.
So incredibly, Mike pulled this at one of our shows when we announced that you had won. The first national champion in lawn bowling since the 1990s from PEI. What type of reaction did you get from your club and community and those that you know around PEI?
I got a lot of support. The club was so beyond happy for me, because they haven't had anyone. They don't have very many people that go to nationals at all. So to have someone win was just amazing for them. It really brought a lot of publicity to the club. They did news articles. They featured the lawn bowling club on the news. So we're hoping next year that there's going to be more members interested.
Awesome.
Yeah, like on the live show, I think if I were to toss the year, I think it said it was 1992 or 1993 was the last time that someone had won for PI. So it was quite an accomplishment to see it happen, because just got exactly what you said. There's very few people who travel or play in nationals at this point from PI. So it's good that you did get that exposure and sort of the extra coverage for it once you did come back. So for next year, do you have any plans, like sort of anything you're looking forward to or planning for next year? Or are you entirely focused right now on going to Worlds?
Well, mainly focused on Worlds right now. And I'm trying to just do both the under 25s and the Canadian. I'm going to try. I'm pretty busy with school and everything. But if I have the time, I would love to do both of them.
That's amazing. You talked about there's not a lot of people that go to nationals. I think in my time, and I don't know about you, Mike, as well, I've only met up with one other pair. And I know the common person in that was Paul Young from over there. Is there much talk about nationals, or are you just an anomaly there for being super competitive?
There's talk of it. I know the mixed doubles, mixed pairs, they were talking about sending some teams if it wasn't too far away, because it's pretty expensive to travel from PEI. And I know Paul will do the singles as well. Same situation if he has the time and if the funds are there.
Yeah, no. Commenting on what Daryl was saying there, PI I think sent a team to the Nationals when it was in Nova Scotia the one time I was there, where we actually saw some teams in the pairs and the fours, and since then I saw Glenn and Charlie. I think one time I played them in the pairs, but then beyond Glenn and Charlie, Paul's both been the only person I've seen from PI over the last about decade or so. So I guess looking forward in your Bulls career, is something putting your name towards the national team, is that something you're going to consider down the line, or?
Yeah, not right away, because I would like to get more experience before I put my name in for the senior squad. I want to have more on my resume, per se.
I mean, 21, 1 and under 25, that's not common. Usually you hear that closer to getting to the age of 25, closer to the years that you're gonna age out. So absolutely incredible. As far as the Atlantic region goes, nationals aside and the stuff that goes around Canada, I wanted to touch a little bit on the Atlantic Bulls Championships, because we don't hear a lot about that outside of the East. The West and Ontario, we don't necessarily hear much about the Atlantic Championships. Have you been to it? What is it like? And is that basically the biggest thing in the area for Bulls?
Yeah, I've been to a couple of them. We got second, not this past year, but the year before. I was in the triples and we got second place. It's probably the biggest event. It's just, once again, when it's held in Quebec, it's hard to get PEI people to go because it's so expensive to get out of here. But this year is the 50th anniversary of it. It's actually being held in PEI. Awesome. So we're looking forward to that.
So when you say it's expensive to get out of PEI, I guess for you guys to fly anywhere, do you have to take a linking flight somewhere and then probably end up wherever it is? Is that kind of the main deterrent, to just the extra flights and then it makes it more expensive?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of flights out of Charlottetown, so you're gonna end up driving to Halifax, which is a 3-hour drive from where I live, anyways.
Right. And
people aren't necessarily wanting to drive 3 hours to catch a flight. They want to be able to fly right out of PEI. And the flights out of PEI are so much more expensive than they are out of Halifax.
Okay.
So
that kind of makes the lines align now that I think of it, because if you have to drive 5 hours to get a much cheaper flight, then that really does deter you from potentially wanting to travel anywhere. It's just it's too much of a hassle to even kind of figure that out.
So you talked about your training leading up to this event and your training with Tammy now. Just as far as a young person goes in the sport, have you been coached much? And what does coaching do for you as far as accelerating your game and your performance?
I have not been coached that much. In PEI, there's no coach available for me. So whenever I have the chance to work with Tammy, I find it really helps me, my attitude specifically. She does a lot of mental talk, stuff like that. And the drills, we don't do drills in PEI. There's no one to help run drills. The drills are amazing, really help with specific aspects of the game.
If you said you started training more this year and practicing more, and it obviously paid off, the different drills or whatever you were working on, when you do put your mind to something and you practice that a little harder and start doing the focused training like drills, definitely works for some people.
Yep.
I think that was all the questions I had lined up. Daryl, did you have anything else you wanted to ask Amy?
No, that's amazing. It's great to get a little taste of what PEI is like, get to meet you and hopefully get you out there, get you some exposure out there so people know who you are and what you're doing.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the show, and good luck next month in Ireland.
Thank you.